said earlier on, today, being the 4th of October, is celebrated the world over as the World Habitat Day. It was first, of course, introduced by the UN General Assembly back in 1985, but first celebrated in 1986. And the theme, of course, over the years has always been centered at ensuring that concerns and welfare of people on the face of the earth are attended to. And the theme for this year's event, of course, is accelerating urban action for a carbon-free world. I'm being joined live on the show on the Congress by an expert in this field. He's in the person of Dr. Kufre Essien. He's the Vice Chairman, Environmental Society of Nigeria, Akwa Ibom State Chapter. He joins us live this morning. A very good morning to you, Doctor.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us. Before we go to the business proper, it's World Habitat Day, and as an environmentalist, what goosebumps do you get whenever days like this are celebrated? I know some of us, we in the broadcast field, we always celebrate days that are set aside for us as journalists. So I wonder, as an environmentalist, what do you normally do to mark days like this?
Yeah, thank you for the question. What we do, because we as professionals, we have that obligation, we have to also contribute to the society. So we try as much as doing a kind of advocacy program, going to schools, talking to people, going to different environments to discuss, to let people understand what the day is all about, and also discuss the topic, looking at the challenges within the context. So those are the things that we normally do. And I believe that's why I'm here.
Interesting. All right. We're going to be looking at the theme for this year's celebration, and that is targeting a carbon-free world. This is, I was talking to someone about this weeks back, and when we have conversations that are centered in climate change, the first question that comes to your mind is, this is the 21st century. There seems to be a shift in paradigm with the way the world wants to do things or prefer to do things with the advent of modern-day technology and several other things. So the possibility of 100% eroding carbon emissions is pretty unlikely, which ultimately leads me to my first question that I'm going to be posing to you on this issue. If we are to arrive at the submissions that we're making, which is ensuring that the world is carbon-free, pollution comes in left, right, center. A lot of it are man-made. So for the benefit of those that are listening at home, because we're trying to simplify this discussion for their understanding, what kind of pollution naturally bothers you that you feel those of us who are not environmentalists should be concerned about?
Okay. For me, most especially Akwa Ibom State, we're talking about land pollution that emanates from waste, poor waste management or indiscriminate disposal of waste. That's the one that gives me concern. And you can see in Akwa Ibom State, you go along street, you see heaps of waste. Even though the government are trying, maybe we'll get to that point, trying to see how they can dispose the waste, but people are not enlightened, people are not well informed on how to manage their waste. The concept of waste management starts from the home. So if you are well informed on how to manage your waste, as a matter of fact, this waste is money.
It looks to me like people are more concerned with waste disposal than just necessarily managing the waste.
Waste. That's what I'm saying. This wasted money. Because some times ago, I presented a paper when Waste Management Board did a workshop, which titled Waste to Wealth. So I was trying to tell some people, you can make money out of your waste, and that can take some of the bills. If we can actually have that proper education, that enlightenment, we can now separate our waste from home. Because if you go to a waste bin, you see a lot of guys, we call them scavengers. They are picking those things. So it won't be wrong if I have them and then separate them. They can come to my house and pay a fee and pick those things, rather than me taking it to the dump site and they are going to pick those things. I'm going to sell. So automatically, when you dispose waste, you are also throwing away money. So if we can have that understanding, I think it will really help. But we have problem of waste management in Akwa Ibom State, though the government are trying. We will discuss further maybe when we have questions that's directly related to that.
And the next line of question ordinarily would be, most of these pollution, you cited the ones that you think are peculiar here in Akwa Ibom State. How hazardous are they to our health?
They are very, very. We still have problem of waste management. And I think I want to use the opportunity to also appeal that government should also involve professionals in the process. Waste management is a process. It's not a one-time thing. You know, starting from maybe how to separate the waste, you now collect the waste, then you take it to a waste bin. Let me shock you. Do you know, at times it's quite sympathetic when I go around seeing people carrying the waste. A lot of them don't use personal protective equipment. They use their bare hand to carry the waste. But, you know, what we're doing, we are not having a proper waste management.
What kind of PPEs are you referring to?
Like they use like the coverall, like the hand gloves, like the safety boots, all of that. Then nose mask, because when you are there, you are inhaling offensive vapor that affects your health system, and it kills you gradually. It's not like you just inhale today and the thing kills. And at times you see them while trying to convey the waste to the dump site. You see them lying down on top of waste, perhaps eating bread. I've been seeing it, eating akara on top of waste. And this we have different types of waste. Some are very, very hazardous. We have like the clinical waste is still being deposited at the normal waste bin. There's a different approach to managing clinical waste. That's waste from the hospital. Imagine they use cotton wool, somebody put to bed, they use all of that, clean everything, and still deposit into a general waste bin. And somebody's going to use our hand to carry. And you don't know, maybe the person they treated had an infection. So as you are carrying the bacteria, you are carrying the bacteria. And that can translate, you know, that you can also be infected. So it's a very serious matter. Then there are a lot of other hazardous waste, like chemical waste. People use chemical bottles and they still put it there. And these people don't have any knowledge, because I'm very sure they are not being trained. They are not trained. I mean, the waste disposal personnel, I don't think they are well trained. They don't have the knowledge.
You haven't joined the government to reach out to professionals, because as you put it, it's a process and not a one-off thing. I'd like to ask, have you advocated for this before as professionals, that you should be, you know, incorporated into things like this?
Yes, very well. We have been trying to work with a lot of government agencies and ministries. We have been working, like Nigerian Environmental Society, we have been working with Ministry of Environment. Now we have also been working with Akwa Ibom State Waste Management Board, but there's a problem. You know, these people see you as somebody who is not part of them, an outsider. At times you give them advice. The point is that, do they really take the advice? So that's where there's a problem. You know, at times, like I said earlier, as professionals, it's not everything we need to make money out of it. But we owe the society that responsibility. So now it's our way of giving back to the society. So we should come in and tell you, okay, this thing is not okay, this is the right way to do it, and we also expect the government to also listen to us. If that is done, then we'll say there's hope. But for now, something else.
So naturally, let's focus back again on carbon emissions and normal pollutions that we find around. What factors do you think are largely responsible for this? I know I've mentioned that a lot of them could be attributed to human activities, but what other factors, as a professional, would you say are largely responsible for pollution, and how can they be managed domestically? Because I know you, as a professional, can suffice advice and say this is what you should do and this is what you should not do, theoretically speaking, but in practical, most persons may not be well versed with some of these terms. So how can they be managed domestically?
Just like what I said before, this we've discussed with the government before. We should have a kind of, start with the education, educating the society, on the effect of poor waste management. because there's no normal person that want to be injured or that want to maybe have a health problem. So if you tell this person, come, this is how you can handle waste. If you don't handle it this way, this will be the implication. That's the starting point. When that person understands, the negative impacts of his or her attitude towards waste management, I think that person will sit up. Then we'll also look at enlightenment campaign. It's not a one-off thing. It is a continuous process. Keep on talking to the people. Keep on talking to the people. Then we also look at the enforcement. How is our enforcement? We have a lot of environmental laws that the society don't know in Akwa Ibom State. One, because there's no education, there's no enlightenment, and at times we try to do enforcement, and these people are totally ignorant of what we're trying to enforce. So that's a major challenge. If we can address those issues, then by the time we do that, we can now start looking at how people can handle their waste. They separate their waste from home. We have waste that can decompose, and we have those ones that cannot be decomposed. So I should not mix those that can decompose and with those that can't decompose. The one that can decompose, that's how we dispose it. That one we can just put in the place, like cabbage, we put it in the place, the thing will now decompose and now add nutrient to the soil. But if I allow plastic, iron, in the next 10 years, those things will still be there. And plastic is a product of chemical. When the thing is there and when the temperature is very high, there's the release of that chemical, which may affect the microorganisms within the ground. And you look at the drainage system now, everywhere is blocked. Why? Because of plastic waste. So if we can now educate so that the society, the people, maybe the government can make available, or people should have their waste bin at home, and they separate this waste, those that can decompose separately, and they put, then the government can either also start doing house-to-house waste collection. A lot of private people are doing, and they pay, but because not everybody will be able to pay them, so others don't have any option than taking it to the normal dump points. Oh. So if we can do that, then now start from home, pick them, so that those ones that cannot be decomposed, we now understand the proper approach towards disposing it. As a matter of fact, waste is anything that is no longer useful to the disposer. It does not mean that that thing does not have the second value. So if that's where we can talk about recycling. If we the government collect the plastic, that plastic can be recycled. Even its textile, it can be recycled. Even its wood, even we talk about the e-waste, the computers can be recycled, so that it is a better way of managing it. So that those that can be decomposed, we take it to the dump site and also follow the processes. Then we now also look at the clinical waste and now also take it separately. As a matter of fact, let me use the opportunity to advise Minister of Environment and even Waste Management Board. There should be a kind of a workshop for all both government and private hospitals on how to manage medical waste. Okay. I think by the time we do that,
that's right. I'll pause here on that. We're going to have to go for a short break, but when we come back, we'll continue the discussion. We'll talk more on recycling. We'll look at global warming as well as conserving energy, all in a bid to address the theme for this year's World Habitat Day, which is accelerating urban action for a carbon-free world. That's on the Congress, plus all of your reactions. We'll be right back after this break.
For the latest previews, reviews and analyses and reactions to the biggest sporting events around the globe, subscribe to our YouTube channel to join the Premium FM Sports Center on Premium 89.9 FM, your preferred station.
Welcome back. You're still on to Premium 89.9 FM, your preferred station, and you're listening to the Congress with me, Raymond Eta. This morning, we're playing host to the Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Environmental Society, in the person of Dr. Kufre Essien, has been seeking to address the theme of this year's World Habitat Day, accelerating urban action for a carbon-free world. But just before we went on that break, I did tell you can join the conversation by reaching us on the phone line to 0904 1234 899 or 0912 0000 899. Before that break, you talked keenly about recycling, which is where I like us to focus on again. It seems we have a poor culture of recycling products in this part of the world, though I feel it's something some persons have begun to embrace keenly. What more do we need to do, to inculcate that habit into people that not every waste is indeed a waste?
Okay. Like I said before, I know the recycling process is somehow technical. Let me start from this point, or from this standpoint. Like I've been talking to a lot of people that we can generate money. You may not have money to set up a recycling plant, but we have a lot of recycling plants all over Nigeria. And for people that don't have work to do, unemployed youth, if you can just take maybe a decision, okay, I want to deal with a certain product or item like plastic. If you go online, you see a lot of recycling companies, and you get in contact with them and register as their agent in Akwa Ibom State. Then you now try to see how you can even engage the scavengers to get those plastic together. By the time you have a certain quantity, you get in touch with the company. They will come and pick them and pay you. You make money. And because that's their raw material, they are in need. So that's one aspect. But I think Akwa Ibom State government, they are also trying to bring a recycling plant to the states. That will also help in recycling waste and also help in managing waste effectively. But I think people should take this, the first approach I gave. We are talking about money. We need information on how to make money. So people should start looking at companies that are doing recycling in terms of iron. Their companies, just get to them. It doesn't take anything. Just write to them. If you call, you see their line, you see their email, just write to them and cluster the thing. The problem is that, when I was much more younger, we used to see these Igbo people coming around, picking those things. At times we sell those things 1 naira, 5 naira, go and eat akara with the money. And at times people see that, these people are like dirty people. Sorry to use the word. I'm just trying to paint a picture. It's not about being a dirty person. They are making good money out of it. And us here, we're looking at white culture. They are making good money out of it. So there's money in that business. Forget about it. See, if you are an engineer, you wear dirty clothes. And when you finish your work, you go back and you clean up yourself. So I think if people can follow that, a lot of people can make money out of it. Then another thing for our big guys in the state, big people who have the money, they should try and see how they can partner with the government, partner with banks to bring a recycling plant. One is going to create employment opportunity and also help us to reduce the volume of waste that we have. So I think recycling is the shortest way to effective waste management.
All right, still looking at protecting the environment, one issue that's been hotly debated over the years, recent times precisely, is the issue of climate change and how it is altering our planet. And a lot of this, too, is narrowed down to the idea of global warming. I wonder, how do you feel when you hear or are involved in a conversation around global warming? Because it looks to me like something the world likes, appreciates, but doesn't know how to get around it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they don't know how to get around it. I wouldn't say that, but we now.
When I say how,
I understand.
Some countries' policies differ from others.
Yes,
that's the
I
angle.
understand. Yeah, because what actually we look at what leads to the climate change. There are a lot of factors, and we talk about the global warming. What causes global warming? Because we need to make money. Let me use the word making money so everybody can really understand. We use a lot of technology, go into production, and because of that, we emit toxic gases into the atmosphere. Primarily, that's what leads to global warming. But the point is that how do we check a balance? Because we need to make money. How do we make money? And during the process, we don't emit the gases into the atmosphere. So it is very difficult for someone to say, maybe I need to stop production. If I stop production, how will I make money? I need to make money. Understand now? So because of making money, these are the negative impacts of it. But the point is that the good news is that we also need to follow technology. A lot of people now are looking at renewable energy. It's coming to Nigeria. I've been opportunity to be part of one now that is about to start. A certain corporate organization is about to start that and use that. So a lot of people are also looking at using solar in their homes. Now, but I know it's quite expensive. The common people may not be able. But you see, it is the rich that pollute the environment more than the common. If there is no light, who will run a chain? The rich person will run chain the whole night. A common person may not be able to run chain the whole night. So, and the rich can also go for the solar system, renewable energy. If they do, then the volume of emission will reduce. Because to me, they produce more than the poor. If like a common man want to run chain, he can just time himself, buy 2 liters or 1 liter of fuel, run between a certain time, a certain period, and turn off the fuel. Or if I can even run for 1 hour, off it and save it for the next day. So automatically, the rich person can run the whole night. So a lot we talk about cars. We should also look at technology. Is there a better way of running our vehicle without fuel? Because during the process of burning, there's that emission. Understand now? Burning fuel, there's that emission. So that's what we're looking at. So we should also look at technology and follow other developed countries to see how we can bring this renewable energy, we can embrace the renewable energy. That will really help us, and also that will reduce the level of emission of toxic gases into the atmosphere. Then the idea of climate change or global warming will also be going down. And we talk about vision 2020 vision. We keep on having these visions, but we don't actualize them. So I think it's high time we take things very serious and we are very practical in whatever we wish to do. And at times, if we do that, I think there will be a reduction, and we can say we have hope for the future.
Energy conversion also comes into question. I wonder how can we conserve energy that can be maximized in certain areas that can bring about not just human development, but importantly also protects the environment and our health. And what type of energy do you feel is most environmentally friendly? In the midst of talking about global warming and renewable energy, which of them is really environmental friendly?
The renewable energy.
And when we talk of renewable, you cited solar and several others. But like you've said, I like the fact that you've ironed out that some persons may not be able to afford most of it. But it doesn't mean we have to wait until the rest of the country or everyone in the entire country has what it takes to be able to afford this kind of clean energy. You talked about emissions from vehicles. Like the UK has a project by 2035 to begin to have cars that are powered by electricity and not necessarily fuel. It's going to take a long time, you agree, before Nigeria or maybe the rest of Africa, catches up with the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's it's a gradual thing. It's not like a one-day thing. Like I said, if people that can afford go for it, practically there will be a reduction. At times we cannot really talk about eradication. We talk about reduction. If we can reduce it to the lowest minimum, automatically negative impact has also been reduced. So let us not consider eradication, because everybody are not the same. Unless the government can really bring out money and maybe take up some responsibility, which, the government, they have a lot of things to do. So they cannot channel money to only one sector. So I think if they can do, let's look at reduction now, but over time, maybe we will get there.
Okay, so what is your your description for, a natural environment that you feel a human being should, live in?
That's what we talk about, the green environment.
Just a green environment. Even in the face of or the risks of perhaps losing your industrial power, especially for nations that rely heavily on production to survive.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
It could be a problem economically.
That's what I'm saying. That like those companies should look at renewable energy. They should look at that.
And on one last note now, your forum, the Environmental Society of Nigeria, you're saddled with a moral responsibility of advocating for policies that would better the lot of people on the face of the earth as it concerns the environment. So looking at Nigeria and by extension Akwa Ibom State keenly, and taking into consideration all we've highlighted so far, in 5 years' time, where do you place us environmental-wise?
Yeah, I want to give it to the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly. We have been working with them. We have a very cordial relationship, because from time to time when they want to enact a law, they will always send the drafts to us. We make comments, and we go there to present whatever comment or input we've made. And but it's about maybe implementing or accepting people's idea. But they have been doing that, and we have a lot of environmental laws. So if we can, do a lot of advocacy program, enlightenment program, education program, then also we look at the enforcement. If we do those three things, I can tell you in the next 5 years, Akwa Ibom State will be a much more better place to stay in terms of environment.
All right, so looking forward to that very keenly. And in case you need help with regards to most of the things that we have said, you can always beckon on the Environmentalist Society of Nigeria. And I'm sure you'll always be there to provide the professional help that a lot of Akwa Ibomites will need in areas of waste management in particular.
Yeah, Nigerian Environmental Society.
Begging your pardon, Nigerian Environment. All right. Okay, that's the much we're going to have to take on the Congress for today. If you've got more questions in this regard, you might visit us on all our social media platforms. Leave us a comment. We'll do well to attend to most of them. Dr. Kufre Essien, many thanks for joining us on the Congress today.
Thank you.
Premium 89.9.
We are your preferred station. Premium 89.9 FM.